Oh, hi there. Sorry, I didn't see you there. You must be my next appointment? Yeah, that's it. Great, well, welcome to my shop. I'm really flattered that you've chosen me to work with on this project. I'm really excited to get started. So, just to begin with, in your email you said that you wanted a jacket made? Yeah, of course, no problem, we can do that. So, today I just wanted to gather some of the initial information I need. So, I want to go over what colour you'd like, what fabric, and I just want to do a few simple measurements just so that I can get the sizing just right. Is that okay? Great, sounds good. Okay, so just to get started, I would just like to ask you a couple questions about what it is you're actually picturing, and I might just do a bit of a preliminary sketch if that's okay. Great. Then I can get on to measuring you. So I've got my trusty notebook. So, could you just start by sort of giving me the basic details of what it is you're picturing? So like, what sort of length are you going for? And how would you like it to fasten? Do you want a zip? Do you want buttons? You want buttons? Okay. And, oh, you want a hood? Yeah, we can make that happen. So, would you like any pockets? 1, 2 pockets. Yeah. Of course, I think I'm going to give it a nice lining because coat isn't complete without a lining. Let me just take a minute to draw this up. Do you want a belt? No? Okay. Okay, see, it's going to look really nice. I'll show you some fabrics later that I think might go nicely with this. So what sort of colour were you wanting? Something bold? White? Well, I'll show you both. Okay. I think that's enough to get started on. Let me take some measurements from you. Okay, so I'm just going to be using my measuring tape. Sorry if it's a little bit cold. I think I'm going to start with your neck, if that's okay. Sure. Okay. Alright. Just go around if that's fine. Okay. Good. Need to remember this. And I'm just going to do your shoulders too, if that's okay. So, okay. The other side too. Okay. Sorry, let me just do that first one again. I think I did that a bit. Yeah, it's better. Okay, I'm just going to measure your chest across now. So, let's just... Okay, that's good. go around the back as well, that's okay. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Alright, I would just like to measure your arms as well, if that's okay. So if you can just stand with your arms outstretched a little bit. Thank you. Start with this one. Okay, looks about right. Let's go. Now your other arm. Okay, so that's perfect. Great. Okay, so I think now I would just like to do the circumference of your arm as well, just so that I can make sure that your sleeve is not too tight but also not too baggy on you. So if you could just sort of stretch your arm out a little bit like that. Thank you. I'll start on this side again. So, okay, so that's sure. And to the other side. Thank you. This one is... yeah, okay. Right, and of course, I'm going to measure just the length. I don't want the hemline to be too long or too short. I want to fall in just the right place, so you can just sort of make sure that you've got your back straightened. Good posture. Start here and just go all the way down. Okay, I think that looks about right. Is this the sort of length you're after? Yeah? Great. Okay, let me just check that matches up on the other side. Yeah, okay, that's good. Just jot that down. Okay, so I think that just leaves a few more measurements for the hood. So I think I'll start with from shoulder to just top of head. So, just gonna start up here. Please try and keep still. Okay, so I think that's roughly right. Let me just look on the other side as well. Not that I think that your head is that unsymmetrical. Yeah, okay. I would also just like to do the circumference of your head as well. So I'm just going to go right around and then back around here. Okay. Let me just try that one again. Go back around your head and there we go. Good. Good, 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 good. So, let's see. What measurements have I forgotten? Got your shoulders, got your chest, got the length, arms, neck, hood. I think that's about it, yeah? Great. So that means we can move on to having a look at the fabric. Oh, sorry, I did forget one. I'm going to do some measurements for your pockets. I just want to measure your hands, if that's okay. because I think there's nothing more annoying than when your whole hand can't fit into your pocket. I know they're meant for holding stuff, but I want my whole hand in there. So, can I just have your hand, please? Thank you. I'm just going to measure the length of that. Okay, great. The width as well. Fantastic. Can I have your other hand? I assume it's the same, but let's just check. Yeah, okay. That'll be no problem. Okay. Let's put this down for the time being. And my tape measure too. Okay, so earlier you told me you were thinking about having maybe quite a bold colour. Yeah? Great, no, that's no problem. I'll show you what I've got. So, these are just to have a look at the colour, so don't worry about the texture for just a moment. So, let's see. If you're wanting something bright, you could look at these. So, for example, this very bright pink. So this will definitely be a bit of a statement piece, but I would like it. Or you have this sort of orange. Again, don't worry about the texture so much, but it's a nice bright warm orange. Or maybe you wanted something redder, so there's this bit of a sort of corally red. I think that's quite nice too. Or maybe if you wanted something a bit less intense, there's this one. So this is a nice sort of olive green. It's very soft as well. I know you might not get this texture specifically, but I do like this one a lot. Or, okay, alternatively if you're looking for something a bit less intense, I've got a few sort of greeny blue swatches that I think you might like. So starting with these two. So these are a bit like of a tealish colour. I think they're both very nice and they'd suit you, I think. They go nice with your complexion. Or if you wanted something a bit more sort of everyday wear, it'll go with anything. Here's these three. So these are all of course very dark. This one's sort of navy blue but very dark again. Or these two, which are two very dark green colours. Yeah. So these or these bright colours. Are there any that catch your eye? Yeah? Yeah, good choice. Let me just make a note of your colour preferences. And I can actually pull up some more later if there were none that really were exactly what you wanted. So you liked number 23, 48, and which one was it? 71. Well, that brings us to fabric type. So I've got a big old stack of fabric here for, and so I just like to go through these to establish sort of what kind of fabric, what texture you are after. So let me show you what I have. Now, any of these can come in any of the colours that you choose, so don't worry about that. So, to start is this sort of fabric. So this is quite a light fabric, very smooth, relatively wrinkle-free. Doesn't wrinkle very easily, but it makes nice, good surface. What do you think? Okay, let me show you the next option. There you could have a more sort of tough, a bit thicker fabric if you like. So this one is definitely a bit tougher, more of a sort of calico feel to it. What do you think? Would you rather this? It would be probably a bit warmer than the other one, but you don't really need to worry about warmth that much because I'll add a lining that will keep you warm no matter which one you choose. So this is more of a sort of sturdy fabric, less bendable. Okay. Or you could take a fabric like this one. Now this is fairly similar to the first one except a bit coarser, so not so shiny, silky, and maybe a tiny bit thicker, a bit sturdier, but not as sturdy as the last one. So just take a feel of that and tell me what you think. Okay. Or, moving on, I've got a fabric that would be more like this. So as you can see, this one hangs a bit more, it drapes a bit better. It's a bit thinner and a lot smoother. So give this one a feel as well. Yeah, it's quite nice. It does feel very soft. So this would be, like I said, thinner than any of those last ones, but it would hang quite nicely and it would make for a slightly glossier sort of sheen. So next up is this fabric. So this is actually the inside. This is the outside that you would see. So it's sort of almost sort of furry, not quite, but it's very soft and it's thicker, but has this lovely texture. So sort of a faux suede almost, but washable. I think that one's quite nice. Or, oops, of course, if you're going for a real statement piece, you could have a crushed velvet sort of fabric. So this is thinner, but has a very unique texture and feel. And of course look, very shiny. Give it a soft. And two more left. Here is another very smooth sort of fabric, somewhere between the two that we saw before. So not too thick, not too thin, but breathable and a good sort of layering texture. Okay. That brings me to my last fabric. You could have something like this, and what sets this one aside from the others is that this fabric is stretchy, so it's not really a requirement of the coat, but it could add a quality to it that you might like. I think it wouldn't be my first choice though, but always there if you want to consider it. So, I will let you leave with a bunch of samples of those so that you can, you know, think about it for a bit longer, but are there any that you immediately are drawn to? Yeah, okay. That does sound good. Let me just add that to my list. So keep in mind, any colour is fine for those. Oh, okay, so now that I have your fabric preferences and colour preferences, I can start making a few mock-ups of what the actual end product will look like, and I'll send those over to you so that you can have a better look. And now that I've got your measurements too, I can start building some pattern pieces for the actual finished product. So, unless there's anything else you wanted to add? No? Okay, great. I think that brings our session to an end today. Well, thank you so much for coming in. It's been really helpful. And I'll see you next time with a bit more information. Okay. Nice to see you. Bye.